Okay, what is going on, CYPRX YouTubers? Welcome back to the CYPRX YouTube page. As always, if you're interested in learning about cryptocurrencies, commodities, indices, and foreign exchange, please go ahead and consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. In today's video breakdown, as you can see from the screen share that I'm hosting right now, is a list of questions that are most commonly asked to me. So I thought that I'd jump on YouTube and answer them for you all, plain and simple. All right, very nice questions that I thought that I'd share with you all. Again, these will help you out in your trading career, trading mindset, market essentials that I personally think that you need in order to survive long-term in this market. Not paying attention to all the smoke that's out there on the YouTube space, okay? The Twitter space, all of these mentorship programs that you go and you join, right? And it's just basic market information. Here at CYPRX, we created an environment for people to come and learn from complete beginner's perspective and take them all the way to an advanced perspective based off of things that you can't necessarily find on the internet, right? Psychological things and market technical analysis that is not commonly found on the internet. So without further ado, let's get started into today's video breakdown. First question is the intensity of winning a trade the same as losing? Describe your emotions during each. How do you react when you win or lose? So I'm going to start with losses. For me, when I take a loss, I'm not going to lie, it hits hard still at this point in my trading career because I have a lot of individuals depending on me, not necessarily financially, but they look up to me, right? I'm a mentor in this market space. I have a lot of students that look up to me. So when it is that I take a loss, and I'm very open with my students when I take a loss, I don't want to say that it has a mental effect on me, but I definitely get down throughout the day. I look at myself and I'm like, okay, what can I do better next time? How did I make a mistake in this market? And how can I approach the market next time to not generate the same mistake again? That is the only way that you're going to excel in your trading career, is when you make a mistake, you annotate that mistake and you critique it enough to the point to where you learn from that mistake to not commit that mistake again. Now, there's a difference between losing, making a mistake in the market, and creating a bad habit in the market. And that's one key takeaway I want you to generate from what it is that I'm saying to you all right now. When you lose in the market, it is 99% of the time your fault. Okay, that means that you decided to enter into the market based off of leveraging a certain amount of money, based off of targeting a certain area of interest, right? And all of these things, okay? What you need to understand is what you did wrong, and that is the only way that you're going to excel in your trading career. So when I take a loss, yes, it does mentally hit me hard, but at the same time, I'm mature enough to ask myself what it is that I did wrong, take some notes on that subject, and then move on, so that way next time I approach the market, I can attempt not to make that mistake again. And that is what seriously elevated me in my trading journey. Now, when it comes to taking a win, I humble myself when I take a win. I accept what the market gives me. All right. So I'm definitely not greedy. I've had very, very interesting issues in the past with greed. And when it comes to this market, when the market gives you any certain amount of money, okay, remember that more profit is not guaranteed. You will experience 1,001 emotions in this market, and greed is one of them. So when you win, humble yourself, take in and soak in what the market has given you, analyze what you did right, understand that the next time the market most likely is not going to do the same thing, but you can prepare yourself for if a similar event takes place and execute a trade accordingly. All right. I do like to give myself a little bit of a confidence boost. I'll go back, I go over what it is that I did in the trade. I pat myself on the back a little bit. I say, okay, listen, I did A, B, and C in the market, and that led me to, acquiring D, E, and F. All right. And when you can consistently do that on a day-to-day, weekly, monthly, yearly basis, that is when you see a rising equity curve. All right. So next question, in your strategy, what is the most important trading rule? I would have to answer that by saying that the most important trading rule in my personalized strategy, again, something that I teach to the CYPRX students, is to take a logical market approach. What does that mean? When you are consistently basing your trades off of logic, you have a higher probability for a trade to go in your favor, more so as if you were basing 90% of your trades off of emotions, which again is why 90% of traders fail, because they are consistently emotional based trading. They trade based off of fear. They trade based off of greed. They trade based off of what everybody else in the market is doing. And I'm sure that you all can see that on the Twitter space, the YouTube space. Everybody's always searching for the next price prediction. Everybody's always trying to find out or figure out what the next top trader is doing or how much profit they've made and blah, 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 blah. They are emotional based traders. And that is why 90% of this market space is saturated and people don't come out on top. And it is because they don't take a logical and mature approach to this market. So what does that mean, taking a logical approach to this market? And why is that the most important aspect or trading rule of my strategy? Well, when you're taking a logical approach, you're thinking of a couple of different things. What are the market makers doing? Would they buy and sell from this specific area, right? Logical target areas. Would the market makers target this specific area of price action in order to put my trade in favor of going in my directional bias, right? So when you're asking yourself these questions and you're taking a logical approach from the market, like I said, you have a higher probability for the trade to go in your favor. Whereas if you're just hitting buy and sell based off of your emotions. So to chalk that up and to answer that question, I'd say that the most important trading rule and my strategy is to trade with logic and have zero emotional attachment to the market. No fear, no greed, no nervousness, have a high self-esteem, have lots of confidence in the market, but do not trade based off of emotions. Number 3, what is the most important advice that you could give to a beginner trader? I have been asked this question 1,001 times, and I will answer it the same way 1,001 times. The most important advice that I could give to a beginner trader coming into this market space, whether it's forex or crypto, doesn't realistically matter which one it is to not have an ego. If you have an ego in this market and you think that you are above and beyond everybody else that is involved in this market, you will get eaten alive. What do I mean by that? I've seen countless amounts of traders come into this market, even into the CYPRX mentorship, with this egotistical approach that they're going to become millionaires overnight, or they're going to make some significant amount of money in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. And yes, I've seen that happen, but that only happens with the individuals that put in the elbow grease and really take it upon themselves to mature in this market. If you come into this market as a complete beginner, understand that you are operating against the smartest minds in the world. Not only myself and the other CYPRX traders are attempting to eat your stop loss, but you have banking institutions, prop firms, big whales and entities that have billions and trillions of dollars that are trading with information and technology that you will never have access to. And when you can accept that, it will humble you in this market. And again, like I said, beginner traders coming into this market do not have an ego. Now, that's not to say to have a high level of confidence and a high level of self-esteem in this market. 1 and 2 are completely different than having an ego in this market. Okay, I've seen many traders come into this space and they're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to come in, I'm going to make a whole bunch of money, I'm going to cash out, I'm going to change my life financially. And then come to find out 2-3 months into their trading journey, that does not happen. In addition to that, I would say to not have an ego coming into this market, but also you have to be in love with trading these markets, whether that's forex, commodities, indices, or cryptocurrency. If you do not love trading, you will get annihilated in this market, because those times that you lose, you will have to completely reevaluate why you even entered into this market. And when you're 3 months into your trading journey, when you're 6 months into your trading journey, when you're a year down the road into your trading journey, and you came into this market space with this big, massive ego, and now it's been stomped on and pressed, the only thing that is going to push you through the trials and tribulations is if you love trading. If you cannot live without trading. 90% of individuals, if you ask them if there was no monetary gain to continue trading, meaning you don't make any money if you continue trading, would you keep trading? 90% of people would say, no, I wouldn't. I would stop trading. Why would I trade if I can't make any money? And that is going to get you tagged out in this market. Having an ego and not having a love and a passion for trading these financial markets. Whatever poison you pick, whether that's crypto, commodities, indices, or forex, if you do not have a love for what it is that you do and you step into this market with the ego, you will get annihilated. So that is my beginner advice to anybody coming into the space that has no market knowledge and is coming into this space for the first time. Question number 4, what is a good quality trait of a successful trader? That's so simplistic and easy to answer, but at the same time, very hard to come by and very scarce in this market. And that is patience. Patience is probably the number one key characteristic trait of any good trader. I've seen thousands and thousands of traders lose money in this market because they do not have patience. Yet come to find out, if they had just that little bit more of patience in this market, their trade that they took would have gone in their favor, or wouldn't have hit their stop loss, or they wouldn't have entered early into the position. 9 times out of 10, when you're looking to enter into the market, it is the incorrect spot. The market will do something else and then go in your favor or go against you. And what does that mean? That means to have a little bit more patience in the market. 90% of people in this market pull the trigger early. Okay, they trade impatiently, they anticipate market direction, they guess market direction, and all of those things are characteristic traits of an impatient trader. Okay, now why can this be such a bad habit in the market? right? And why can this be such a hard characteristic trait to come by in this market? Because of things like prop firm challenges or the need or want for monetary gain. It can cause a high level of impatience in your trading because you want so many things from the market. As a human, right, it is a natural human inclination to want things, okay? You want money, you want this now, I want this now, you want that. You can't have that kind of mindset in this market space. If you do, you will get annihilated. There are many times in this market space where I have sat on my hands for multiple days before placing a trade. Beginners that come into this market will not do that. They'll trade prior to the New York session open, or they'll trade prior to the London session open when they see a nasty bullish or bearish candlestick chasing momentum moves. 9 times out of 10, you will get liquidated. Why? Because that is not the market move. It is the market testing your patience and the ability for you to sit on your hands and wait for the perfect opportunity. And that is, again, what 90% of traders cannot do, which is why 90% of traders lose money consistently in this market. So again, to answer that question, what is a good quality trait of a successful trader? And it is patience. If you do not have patience in this market, you will get annihilated. Okay, question number 5. In my opinion, what is the number one reason that traders lose? There's so many different ways and approaches that you could take to answering that question. Man, answering that question. Okay, what's the number one though? What's the number one reason why most traders lose? I say that it's jumping from trading strategy to trading strategy. There are so many saturated trading strategies out there in the market. Even myself experienced a lot of that in the first 3 years of my trading career. Trading order blocks, trading Wyckovian theory, trading support resistance methodologies, trend lines, all the stuff that you can find on baby pips. 90% of the material that you find on YouTube is all saturated in garbage, okay? Which is why we're trying to make a standing point here with CYPRX and show people real value in technical analysis. Technical analysis is like 50% of the battle. There's a 40% battle and a 10% battle that we're not even going to talk about here on this channel right now, but technical analysis is not everything, and 90% of traders think that technical analysis is the key to success in this market, which causes them to jump from trading strategy to trading strategy when one doesn't work. Now, that's not to say that, you're going to jump on one trading strategy and that's going to be the one that works. However, 90% of the time, if you have patience in the market, logical target areas, and a logical approach to entering and exiting this market, you're most likely going to come out on top with a mediocre trading strategy, okay? The reason why you're constantly losing in this market is because you don't stick to one strategy that has proven to work in this market. Find yourself a mentor, whether it's myself, Ezra, or some other trading mentor out there that isn't afraid to show you his face, and learn his way, learn from somebody who's proven success in this market, back test their strategy, and then forward test it for a minimum of at least 1 year to 2 years. You are not going to prove success in this market trading a strategy for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, because even myself have experienced a losing month with my CYPRX strategy. I'm very transparent with how I approach the markets. Our strategy is not 100% accurate. However, we have generated a strategy that is 70 to 80 to 90% accurate that much of the time, right? Nobody in this market is right and accurate 100% of the time. So if I was to say the number one reason why traders lose in this market, it is because they cannot find a consistent strategy. And then when they do find a consistent strategy, proven by someone who's shown them variables in this market that exist, who's shown them a logical approach to attacking these markets, they cannot stick with that because of their mentality and their saturated perspective and their low self-esteem, their low confidence, their inability to have a high teachability index, and their ability to overcome trials and tribulations when the market stomps on them. Okay, so question number 6, what was your most traumatic trading experience? This one hits home, and I highly advise that you listen and pay attention to what it is that I'm saying, because number 3, the beginner advice of having an ego that I said correlates with number 6. So the most traumatic trading experience that I ever had was when I was with Spencer. I went to the lake. He's another individual that trades on CYPRX, and I lost $54,000 in 1 day. It was probably, honestly, I was contemplating life. I'm not even gonna lie. It was very, very heartbreaking, very dampering on my ego and my confidence. And I did this, I took this trade because of my ego. I had a very nasty winning streak. The CYPRX students can contest to this. We had like a 12-week winning streak on GBP JPY where we had 12 weeks in a row of perfect analysis. We're placing profitable trades, boom, 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 back to back. I was sending my analysis to the group, and that built an ego within inside of me. And so when that came, I was like, you know what? I'm confident enough to add an extra currency pair to my analysis, and that was EG. And I took a buy position on EG. The market sold off. I remember market close. When the market closed, I was sitting in $12,000 in drawdown. And Spencer said to me, bro, as soon as the market opens, you should close the trade. Don't hold it. We're going to the lake. We're going to enjoy some family time. Do not hold the trade. And I remember specifically saying to himself, no. I got this. I know what I'm doing in the market. This is going to reverse back in my favor. The market's just going to bounce off this level after it grabs liquidity, and we're going to be good. I remember walking down to the lake and talking to Spencer, being in $36,000 in drawdown, and still saying the same thing to him. I couldn't bring myself to close the trade because of how much money I was losing. I didn't want to accept that I was losing that much money, and I thought that the market was going to go back in my favor. Again, having an ego in this market will get you tapped out, to correlate that with number 3. I then remember getting to the lake. I remember looking at Spencer and him asking me, how much money are you in drawdown, bro? You should definitely consider closing the trade, because he could tell, and so could everyone around me tell, how dampered my mood was. I was really depressed that day. I'm not even gonna lie. I remember laying in the, so just to finish off the story, I closed the trade, $54,000 loss. I remember laying in the lake that day. I had a couple of beers. I was looking up at the sky, and I was just crying in my brain. Crying hardcore that I just took a $54,000 loss in this market for the first time ever. That still to this day is the biggest loss that I've ever acquired, and it will never happen again, because I will never let my trading get to the point where I have that big of an ego that I think I'm bigger than every single market participant that I'm going up against. So to answer that question, number 6, what was my most traumatic trading experience? There it is. I lost $54,000 in this market. Now, to some people that manage millions and billions of dollars, that's probably not a lot, but for somebody who only manages 6 figures, that was a very decent chunk of change in my portfolio at that point in time. Moving on. Number 7, what do you think is the number one thing that separates me from everyone else in this market? I honestly say that my level of confidence is significantly high. There's no loss that I could take that I'm going to give up in this market. I think that that's one thing that separates me from other traders, either that come into CYPRX or even other market participants, is I see a lot of people give up. I've already accepted in my mind that I'm never going to do anything else with my life. Trading is it. Trading is 100% what I want to do. I love these markets. I love cryptocurrency. I love foreign exchange. This is what I do. I live, I breathe it. I'm fully involved with the market. I'm completely in tune, fine-tuned with the market, okay? So to say what separates me from other traders is I have a very, very high level of success from my perspective. I believe wholeheartedly that I'm going to retire off of trading, off of investing, off of growing my capital over a long period of time. I've accepted that living the normal 9-to-5 life is not what it is that I want to do. Okay. And so that has just built me a high level of confidence. It doesn't matter how many losses I acquire in the market. I'm still going to wake up tomorrow and approach the market with a logical perspective and learn from my previous mistake. I guess I'll add that on. Another thing that separates me from other traders is I'm very willing. I have a high teachability index where if I make a mistake in the market, I can quickly learn from it. I don't have an ego when it comes to learning from my own mistakes. That's something that I definitely had an issue with when I was a younger adult, being in the military, having this ego that I was the top gun because I was in infantry. I was big, buff, and muscular. I was a handsome guy in the military. I generated this ego, okay? But coming into this market, that built me a high level of confidence. Some of the things that I experienced in the military, I compare that to my experiences in trading now, and I say to myself when I acquire a loss, this isn't that bad. This isn't as bad as some of the days that I've experienced in the military. So I have a high ability to overcome trials and tribulations. All right. So to answer what is the one thing that separates me from other traders is my ability to overcome trials and tribulations and never give up. Number 8, this one's funny. Do I have an opinion about the majority of trading systems sold to the general public compared to the CYPRX mentoring program? Let me first start off by saying, as a beginner trader, the first 2 to 3 years of my trading career, I dumped an unnecessary amount of money in mentoring programs, over $20,000. I'm not even going to mention one of the programs that I joined in the first 3 years of my trading career, but I was charged over $10,000 for that mentorship program. With CYPRX, we created it with the ability for people, every average day individuals, number one, to afford it and to come to a market space where you can take a beginner and turn them into a complete advanced trader based off of knowledge, technical analysis, psychological level mentoring, and give them a level of access to trading and technical analysis that is not commonly found on the internet. Okay, so with that being said, to compare CYPRX to other mentoring programs, there's a lot of saturation in this market. I think that the mentors here can agree with me at CYPRX, and the students, we have a high level of passion for turning people into profitable traders. Nothing that we constitute here is financial advice. All we can do is show you what's worked for us in the market. However, what has worked for us in the market is not a gimmick. It is straight strategy from a logical approach, right? Controlling your mindset and your emotions. We're not here popping smoke telling you that some indicator is going to give you the secret momentum that you need in the market. We're not here telling you that some magic support button or blah, 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 blah is going to make you money in this market. We're not sitting here copying stuff from the Wachovia order book and putting it on our freaking YouTube like 90% of other traders are. We are showing traders from a logical approach how the banking institutions realistically move on a day-to-day basis. You guys have seen that from the CYPRX YouTube content. If you guys are interested in that mentorship, again, that link is in the description down below. No gimmicks here. We are straight up about teaching people a logical approach to this market and not popping smoke. You guys have seen me back up that word time and time again on this YouTube channel. So those are 8 questions that are most commonly asked to me, either from the CYPRX students or comments that I get on Twitter and YouTube. Blessings to you guys all. I hope that you enjoyed that breakdown. I will introduce another mentor here at CYPRX onto the YouTube page shortly, as well as have some interviews with other CYPRX students in the next couple of weeks, so you all have something to look forward to. Before you leave off this YouTube page, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel, smash that thumbs up button. We do appreciate it here at CYPRX. With that being said, blessings to you guys all. Be cognizant, be aware, stay safe, and I will see you guys in the next video breakdown.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go.